Okay, fellas, it's good to be able to share with you one last time a bit about our season and to just have some fun. I teased this in our award banquet on Sunday, and I just wanted to take a moment to just to look at our season one last time and wish you all well on your journey moving forward. So I put this together. Some of you may know that Abel and I have been reading and talking about some of the Lord of the Rings for a while now. We kind of read these together sometimes in the evening, and obviously Tolkien is a Christian, and you see a lot of his faith through some of his epic stories. So, anyways, there's 9 guys on our team. Unfortunately, we lost Hudson this past year. Stepped off the team, and so it worked well with the numbers just to do our 9 guys as part of this Lord of the Rings thing here. So, all right, this was one of the lines from the from the film and the book, but I don't remember which this is pulled from. But it's a line before Bilbo Baggins takes off, and this was really kind of something I was going to mention in the speech. I had all of this prepared actually probably a couple weeks after our season ended. And then realized we wouldn't have time for all of this, understandably, with 8 teams or so in our banquet yesterday. So decided to forego this, do our thanks to many people that deserved thanks, and to kind of highlight our season. And I wish I had more time to kind of highlight each of you in that time. So I figured we got a moment. I may do some of that here. But anyways, thinking about some of this quote was pulled, and I've got a few quotes from Lord of the Rings throughout. This one was kind of meant towards some of the friends and family of so many of you that I got to meet a little bit through the season. Spent a lot of time, obviously, with you all. But it was great to meet some of your parents more and some of your siblings and things like that too. So anyways, Bilbo, on his, was it 111th, I think, birthday, something like that. He says, "I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve." And so it's a fun one that's talked about a lot in Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. Anyways, it was a great season. I won't kind of belabor some of the big picture things throughout the year, but it was really a great season in a lot of ways. And I think the big thing I'd like to take away for you all to take away is hopefully encouragement, inspiration from. We had, we started out with a lot of learning, and I was a part of that. I've played a lot of basketball. I've coached a little bit of basketball. This is kind of my first sort of real season, start to finish, coaching sort of a organized sport like this. I've coached some other things, just some little league stuff in the past. But anyways, so a big learning thing here, but the biggest thing I loved most, and the thing I kind of highlighted in this, is just how you all grew together, and everybody's got different backgrounds, different stories. I remember when I met a lot of you at that summer sort of tryout session, and knew that I didn't know a lot of you, you all on the team yet, and so really loved getting to know you all. And then, of course, several of you, either because you're my nephew or my son, or because you were on the team last year and I was the assistant coach. I did know some of you there too, so it was neat to get to see everybody from different backgrounds here. But with that, I kind of used this sort of theme of Fellowship of the Falcons. I thought it was kind of fun. So instead of Fellowship of the Ring, that first book in the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, I called this Fellowship of the Falcons. And so, here we go. We're going to start with each of the members of the company, all with their different character traits and physical traits, some of them, all these things, very different. And of course, everyone can get, their feelings kind of one way or another on things. You might love, who I kind of call, pick you for, or you might hate it, but it's really just meant for fun, so don't take it too seriously. Hopefully you all can kind of joke about it and have fun with some of the stuff later too. And if you do get too upset about anything, remember, I chose my own son, Boaz, as Smeagol in that thing here, so we'll have him later too. So, all right. First up, Aragorn. Undoubtedly the company's leader, Aragorn possesses the ability to balance bravery with wisdom. When the battle comes to him, he leads the charge, but he knows he cannot do this alone. So he gathers forces and formulates a plan, then he executes. And so sometimes I've got some of these quotes from some of these people, not always. And so he says there is always hope. Yeah, but Aragorn is he's a man. He's one of the men in the company, and he's a leader. He's a battler. Someone who battles well. He's a warrior. But the big thing was he's a leader, and so he tries to be measured, but he is someone who is the leader and kind of has some lesser known royalty, even though he doesn't own that for a little bit. He steps into this, of course, spoiler alert, later in the books, but he is their leader, and so perhaps you know who this one's going to be. But Camden. So Camden, you're the one I thought fit really well with Aragorn here, and so this guy had, he's a very likable character and got a great future and strong, and just look forward to all that you have moving forward. There's a lot of you get along so well with so many on our team, but also outside of our team. And people say things, sometimes like, oh, Camden's this or that, or oh, can't give him a hard time. But I really want you to just take away that all the jokes and things aside, you're a great young man and you're growing into a greater young man too. And I see that there's always a lot of talk. Even the referees, oh yeah, that's that kid who does all these things. They know your ability to score and kind of do some great things, and God's gifted you certainly with athletic ability here. But one of my favorite attributes about you is that you really are selfless out there too. You find ways to involve guys, and nothing hurts a team more than a great player thinking they're the only player, and that's not been you out there. So you not only made our guys better, but I think you benefited as a part of the team by the way you played a lot too, and looked to others too. So, all right, next up is Legolas. Legolas. He was in the Lord of the Rings in the movies. When I first saw the movies, I saw the movies actually before I read the books. I was never a great reader when I was younger, and enjoy reading a bit more as I've gotten older. But when I watched the movies, Legolas was always one. He's one of the elves. Legolas was quiet and light-footed, fast, wise, and brave. But he is perhaps best known as being the company's sharpshooter, hitting marks from great distances. He too grows throughout his time with his companions, and is steadfast in his service to the company's goal. He stands united as a loyal companion and friend. Your friends are with you, Aragorn. That's one of the things Legolas says. So he's a great character. He is by nature, elves. The whole, the whole elven race and all these things are a bit different and quieter and things there too. But he is he's a fighter, and he's a sharpshooter for one of the again a thing here too. And he is he just got this humility about him, I think, and he was probably my favorite in the company here too, for really all those reasons. And so the one I thought really fit Legolas best here was Isaac. So Isaac was I was really impressed, Isaac, with your shooting ability when I started to see that, and then your ball handling, of course, with that. And your humility, I think, really can serve you well out there. If you have a great basketball player who's selfish, again, as I mentioned, that can kind of be a cancer. It can really affect a team a lot in negative ways. But you're selfless and kind, and you get along really well. I love to see you smile in it. You kind of are a little more reserved, but when you smile and you're talking to your friends, I see that on the sidelines and or just at get-togethers for Falcon stuff, all of that. So excited for your future, Isaac. And, as you continue to kind of grow in confidence and in your role, you're going to be not only a good offensive threat, but, in your aggressiveness as it grows on defense too. And you're fast. You have the ability to be fast. So you're going to have a great future in basketball. All right, Gimli. All right, so Gimli he's of the dwarven race here, and Gimli is perhaps the strongest of the bunch. He loves to be in the fight, to wield his great axe, and to take down the enemy. Gimli grows into deeper friendship with those in his company, and his bravery and fearlessness are an inspiration to all. Let them come. There is one dwarf yet in Moria who still draws breath. So Gimli is, I think the things that stand out to me about Gimli, so not necessarily his short stature, but his strength. So Gimli is strong, and he has some of the funniest lines sometimes in the movies too, and things like that. But he's kind of known for being strong and tough, and he's a bigger guy. He wields this axe, and he has the ability to kind of do some damage that way. And he and Legolas end up forming a relationship too, and even one of my favorite scenes there too is they start counting the counts that they get in battle and all that with each other. But anyways, Gimli's strong and a big part of our team here. And so for this one, I had Quentin here. So Quentin, I think you've got a great future in basketball too. I think I've seen your ability in your free throw shooting, and you've got the ability to be productive on the offensive end and the defensive end, particularly I think down low as you grow in a post player. And to be honest, post players don't get a lot of the glory sometimes. But they are the foundation, the core a lot of times of a team. And so I think you've got a great future. And as you get working on your post moves, even more out there, and you use that body to kind of work some guys down low, take advantage of that. When I was in high school, I was a hurdler, and my coach, he was telling me, he said, you're tall. He said, run tall, and so I guess Quentin, I would say to you, you're strong, so be strong, play strong. And you have these gifts, you have these abilities. Sometimes we want to shy away from those things. I think when I was a taller runner, I felt like I needed to, run like a shorter runner in some ways. He said, use that stride, use that length, use these things. God's given you some great abilities there too. And Quentin, I'm excited to see you at the next level as well. All right, so a few quotes I'm just going to pull out here as well. Just some fun like lesson things in there as well. So shortcuts make long delays. And I think about our basketball season, one of the things that I remember is that, we had sometimes only one practice a week. Sometimes we didn't have any practices. We had games or whatever else. Often it was only one, and often as well we would have 2 practices a week. But I don't know that we ever had more than that. And each of those practices was for an hour to an hour and a half each. Well, that's not a lot of time. And so, one of the lessons I take from this is shortcuts make long delays. A lesson for us, I think, in that is we got to put in the time. We got to put in the work. And sometimes that takes time. I was talking to Abel the other day, actually, after we left this, that, some people really accelerate their growth early on. If you're learning a language, everything you learn is new at the beginning, right? And as you progress, you're growing, but the rate of acceleration and knowledge gain and things like that are just far faster at the beginning. Well, early on, as everybody plays basketball, that can lead to a greater gaps in differences in skill. But I said to say that I think a lot of people are going to catch each other too as people spend more time on this, but it's going to take that time. And so some people, for instance, someone like a Camden or even probably someone like an Isaac or whomever else has spent a lot of time playing basketball, and I can see that, and they've made a lot of early growth. We got other guys on the team I can go, they've got a lot of potential. If they'll put in that time and they want to make this a priority, they're going to catch, in terms of their own positions and things, a lot of growth and a movement up there too. So, but it takes that time. You got to put that time in, not only as we did the homework stuff outside of practice during the season, but especially, and Dan Hornback talked about that as well, in off-season stuff, that a lot of that growth is going to have to happen off-season, so now is the time to kind of get ready for the real growth, maybe for a lot of you in basketball, if you want to prioritize that. Okay, next up, Frodo. So Frodo, it's all about, Frodo here. He is humble and kind, but doubts his ability to contribute to the company, at least early on. However, as battles ensue and opportunities arise, he quickly proves his character and worth while he grows in confidence. So he starts to believe not only in the ability to accomplish this challenging task, right, this goal that they have ahead, but he starts to believe in himself more, and you see him do some things in battle and use his cunning and his abilities in different ways. Again, for a lot of these, probably could have gone a lot of different ways, but for Frodo, again, kind of our humble and kind, but central character in a lot of this went with Graham. So Graham, I love to see this year. I gave Caden the most improved player. You were right there as well as a possible candidate for this. I knew your natural abilities out there. You're a great athlete. You were fast. You were always our fastest in all of our drills. But a lot of that was effort. You worked hard and you put that time in. There was a time, especially early on in the season, where you were hesitant. You were a little timid out there. You played. And that's understandable. You're learning a lot about basketball, but just how the games go and all those things. But man, you grew so much this year, and you started to believe a lot in yourself. And by the end, I mean, you were stealing and making fast breaks, layups, and you were you had the real ability. And I was waiting. I would not have all been shocked if you started to be our offensive leader at times too, because of your ability to score down low and because of your ability to get steals and those transition breaks too. So I think with more time, I think at the next level, I think in the next year or two, that those things are going to develop as you get a little bit better in ball handling and just sort of shooting, just mid-range, free throw distance and closer. A lot of those shots, getting open, fighting to the bucket, one dribble, or so as you drive to the basket. Man, you're going to be a real power and a real threat. But often, at least at times, maybe overlooked as that sort of leading character because you're quiet as well. But I think those things are changing as well as you. You're certainly a leader there too, and I think a lot of the guys recognize that as well. All right, Samwise. So, I'll just read this here. Sam is wise, kind, and selfless. He is considered an unsung hero in the company, advancing the mission even while all else seems to be going wrong. His persistence sees him through many ups and downs. And this is a quote, obviously, from the book here. So, one tiny hobbit against all the evil the world could muster. A sane being would have given up, but Samwise, burned with magnificent madness, a glowing obsession to surmount every obstacle to find Frodo, destroy the ring, and cleanse Middle-earth of its festering malignancy. He knew he would try again, fail perhaps, and try once more, 1,000 times if need be, but he would not give up the quest. So again, a lot of these. So this is probably Tessa's favorite character in the thing. She kind of jokes she really likes Aragorn and his leadership there. But she and I both have probably fallen in love with the Samwise character. This guy in the movies, he's admirable for a lot of his traits of, he doesn't look at himself more highly than he ought. He knows his role in things, but man, he is all in, and he wants to do what he can to help his friends, and and he's close to Frodo. He's close to all his companions there, but he has sort of a special connection there with Frodo too. That wise, kind, and selfless, loyal. And so again, another one that could have gone to a lot of people, but this one I gave to Abel. So Abel, my son, I'm proud of you. For this character, for this connection, I really felt like you're wise, you're kind, and you're selfless, and you fought hard. My favorite moments, and we've talked about some of these, you love that moment where you had that bank shot towards the end of the game to help put your team up, and I think it was, you mentioned against the Panthers there, but there's a lot of moments. I was really proud to see your growth towards the end. You were leading and scoring and things there too. Those things will happen or not, but the confidence I like to see grow. I saw that you saw your abilities there. But some of my favorite things were when, and even in this picture I go, I was pretty thin. I think you're maybe a bit thinner than even I was as a kid, and you're growing and so forth, but you just were all out. Like, you didn't mind. I mean, your body, you got hit sometimes. They wouldn't always call fouls, and you got thrown around a bit at times, but man, it didn't stop you, and you drove in the lane, and you did different things. You did what we needed you to do, and you never, were selfish out there. But if I said, hey, I need you to run the point right now, maybe Camden's in foul trouble, or maybe we're up on a team here, we need you to step in, or whatever. You said, okay, and that's, you've come a long way with a lot of those things. And so, I'm proud of you for the fight and the 1,000 times, if that, whatever it takes, I'm going to keep going. I fail, perhaps I'm going to grow. And those are the character things that will lead to some great success on your continued quest and your journey as well. All right, Gandalf, he may have been, he's hard not to be everyone's favorite character here too, but he's the tallest among his companions. Gandalf is full of surprises and has great power. He always shows up when he's most needed. He may at times be on his own schedule, but he is often putting in work for the company that, at present, no one else sees. There's a quote there, only a small part is played in great deeds by any hero. So Gandalf is, he's sort of this mysterious character. He has these great unique talents, and he serves this wonderful part on their quest. And I kind of joke about some of the things. This person occasionally was late to maybe practice or something else there too. And in the story in the Lord of the Rings, they often are saying, "Hey, where's Gandalf? Where's he at?" Because they know they need him. And they're trying to, they get some, concerned maybe if they don't have that there. But also he's the tallest there. There's some of the height things there too. And, and Caden, as I've gotten to know you a lot, you have fit this pretty well, where I see a lot of your talents and abilities in basketball and elsewhere too. But, I think you have a really unique ability. I gave you the most improved player for a reason. I saw that there were moments I still wanted to see a bit more coming on the stretch of the season in the state tournament. But you committed yourself. You got faster out there. Something we don't talk about, but those are just effort things. I saw you putting in more effort. And if basketball becomes a bigger priority in all the things that you have going on, you have the ability to become a really good player, role player, potential starter, all those things at different levels in time. It's going to take some effort and some growth, but one of the things is I said you're putting in work, as Gandalf is. Gandalf is often on his quest doing other things to help the company that they never know about. And I was really proud of you when you did the homework and you did that work when no one else was looking. And often if you just look at the numbers there and things too, you did more than anyone else to try to grow on some of those things. So proud of your effort. Happy for what you've been doing and excited for the future there as you continue to grow as a player. Okay, another quote from the book. We'll get our last three here. It says, "What are we holding on to, Sam? That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for." So I love that quote. So that's between Sam and Frodo there. We had Sam and Frodo a moment ago. But that's those are the things that you're fighting for. You're fighting for the good, looking forward to the future and the quest here. Boromir, I relate to in a number of ways. So Boromir is a valiant warrior. He's revered for both both in Gondor, where he is from, and abroad, in Rohan, where others know his skill too. He is one marked by both great ability and positive transformation after he stumbles. Boromir fights to the bitter end. Boromir is brave and knows the value of strategy. So one does not simply walk into Mordor. That's you'll see a lot of memes and things like that too. But Boromir is, I'll be honest, he's marked with some challenges as a character in Lord of the Rings. He has this great desire for the ring himself for some personal gain stuff. And so you kind of see him stumble because of that and fall towards the end later. But the important thing is he realizes, and his heart is true in the end, he overcomes that. And all of these people have their flaws and things that they work through. But Boromir, has this connection later with Aragorn and things too. But Boromir, as a character, very strong, again, a fighter. And those are the things that stand out to me. He's strong, he's a fighter, and he plays an important part at various moments in the company. And that's what stands out in this Fellowship of the Rings, that it takes all of the company and different ones at different times. And with Boromir and his strength and his willingness to go into battle and his character here, I got Bowen. So Bowen, I'm really excited for. And all whatever you might pursue here. Again, you have, and I talked about this with your brother too, but you have some natural strength. And we saw some of your great shooting ability. You had potential there with, saw especially the baseline shots and things there too. I was excited for you when you hit those shots, and but also not surprised. I knew that you had it in you, and I've seen it some in practice and things too. So I love to see you out there. And it's not always easy being a younger guy too, but you took that on, and you got and you, I think, bought in and grew really well with your company, with your team here too. All right, next up, Merry. Merry is a hobbit. He's small in stature, but large in heart. He longs to be in the fight and won't let his size prevent him from contributing to the effort. On many occasions, his efforts help the company and, perhaps more importantly, inspire them on their quest. That all depends on what you want. You can trust us to stick to you through thick and thin to the bitter end, but you cannot trust us to let you face trouble alone and go off without a word. So Merry, again, like some of the other hobbits, he's very loyal. He's hardworking. He recognizes, in this case, his size a little bit, and to outsiders, they see that as maybe a weakness, something like that. But he is a major contributor. Has some he does some things that, again, help the company to survive and come to the end in ways that probably no one else could. Merry and Pippin both, they have moments where they fight to be a part of things, and they want it. I mean, they more than these other people who feel like they're expected to participate in this effort. They desire to be in it. They don't have to, but they want to, and they realize later others become extremely grateful for and change the way they look at these because they're leaders. The reality is they're leaders, and they end up being honored towards the end as those leaders in these great cities and so forth, because not because of their physical size at that point, but because of their character and their role. So for Merry, I've got Levi. So Merry and Pippin they're kind of jokesters. They smile, they laugh, they have these things, and so they are sometimes some comedic relief too. But Levi, you're a great basketball player. I love to see it out there. You're a great shooter. You're a great ball handler, and you play with great confidence. And so I love that out there too. And you say these things about the size things, but size matters relatively little, especially for guards out there in basketball. You played out there. I love to see you shooting out there, hitting shots, and smiling again, getting everybody excited. You were one of those that when you got involved and you started doing things out there on the court on a regular basis, by the way, too, it got everybody into it and excited. And guys that were on the bench, parents and players on the sidelines, and a lot of other people, Falcons and otherwise, that were just watching as spectators in the game. Because of the way you played, it was contagious and exciting. So, all right, our last one here. So Pippin is brave and fearless. He is loyal to his friends and has a heart that drives him to do what he deems right, no matter the cost. He is the younger of the Hobbit pair, so Merry and Pippin are kind of talked about a lot here. He's the younger of the Hobbit pair and is a constant source of energy, entertainment, and inspiration. And so there's this great scene. This quote comes from where there's this. They have overcome along with Treebeard and these other things. This great victory over the enemy, and really Merry and Pippin have done it together with these others. But they thought they were lost. They thought they were out of it. They thought they were gone. But they show themselves time and time again at these major battles and these big victories. And they're sitting there. I think they're maybe smoking a pipe or eating food or something too. And he says, "We're sitting on a field of victory, enjoying a few well-earned comforts." So they were funny. They met their companions they hadn't seen in a long time and talk about these things too. But again, Pippin longs to be in the fight, and he fights well. He fights valiantly. And so, of course, we've only got one left, so we know who this is. But this was Jack. Jack, and I mean this with all sincerity. I know that you were the youngest on the team, but you never played like it. You didn't go out there, and it wasn't, I'm going to be good for my age. It was just, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be good. I'm going to be the best I can. And I'm not, we played some teams that were older than us, and there were times that, I forget. I think you're maybe in third grade right now, but we played guys that were in like eighth grade. Well, that's a third grader playing an eighth grader is tough. But you didn't think about it. You just acted. You just went. And that instinct was going to carry you far in basketball. And so not just for your age, but just in general, you're going to be a good basketball player. And I'm excited. You have that instinct to attack, to drive, to be physical. You've got great strength. You've got great energy. There were times, like Abel too, I'd say, "Hey, I need you to guard this guy. I need you to stay on this guy." And you were relentless. And then, I know you had a few frustrations kind of early in the season about getting caught in tough spots and throwing the ball away or something there. But that's an area, I'm just telling you, I saw lots of marked improvement too with you as well. So it's a great combination to have certain abilities, innate, I think, God-given, and have the ability to grow too. And I've seen both of those in you. So you've got a great starting point, but you're showing the ability to continue to grow. So excited, Jack, for your offensive and defensive productivity. And you just, again, got along well with everybody. You're a total joy and had a lot of fun on the court, but off the court too. And so, all right, this is just another final quote here. So deep roots are not reached by the frost. It's actually part of, I think, a short poem and some wisdom there kind of shared in there. But deep roots, if you think about that, deep roots are not reached by the frost. So I think the more we endure, the more we strengthen ourselves, the more we prepare for those battles, and kind of grow those deep roots in our athletic abilities and basketball and our character. The less times of difficulty, the frost, the challenges that might cause other teams and players to stumble, we will be able to endure, right? And so it's about kind of growing those deep roots. All right, so then I mentioned here Smeagol. I joked here. I said, while not officially a part of the company, he does in the end do a lot to advance the goals of the company. This one could often be found on the sidelines, going unnoticed by many. This is the case for Smeagol. He's off on the side. They don't always notice him. Frodo does at times, and Gandalf recognizes that Frodo sees this, and no one else really does. He liked bouncing his precious there. This guy here, even in the middle of our practices. I joked that his speech isn't quite right, either, but unlike Smeagol, this one he was all for the company's success. So he wasn't, he loved cheering you all on. I know you all know this one, but he says, we wants it, we needs it, must have the precious. They stole it from us sneaky little hobbitses. So he loved to play defense with you all. He loved to be out there dribbling the ball. And I just want to say, just as a father, as a note, I know how much it means for Bo to see you all, to be a part of things here. To feel kind of included at the tournament. I took him down there knowing that I had to coach, knowing that I, of course, had to be a coach and a dad for Abel. And frankly, I had to do those things first, and if I could make it work, I knew Bo would love to be out there. And he's heartbroken. I mean, he'll cry, he'll be upset if he can't be at certain things. We left the banquet. They were just exhausted, some of the other ones, the little ones, and he just, he hates to not be a part of it. Same deal. It's happened many times. So I do what I can to let him be around because he just soaks it up. He'll sit on the bench there. We got some great photos of him just sitting on the end of the bench. We'll be doing warm-up stuff there. He'll be sitting by himself. He'll be basketball practice on the sidelines, dribbling the ball, or if I tell him he's got to hold it, he'll sit there and wait. And he's willing to put up the patient, be patient, do all that stuff because he just loves being a part of it, And so I just want to say thank you to you all for really allowing him to be around and being okay with that. But you all did so much more. You all really adopted him in as a brother and just let's let him lead the break and do all these other things. And I didn't want that to become a distraction, but I was happy that you all let him be a part of things and do that and encouraged him. And I didn't say this enough. I kind of alluded to this with the importance of the big brothers and the Falcons organizations. The organization, and a lot of, particularly the varsity guys, and I thought about the Hornback guys in particular. I know I've seen with Abel and some other guys, fist bumps and those things, but it's a lot of people, and not just the varsity boys, but a lot of the players and other teams and other coaches and other parents. But when as a young man growing up, you have a tribe, a team, a group, an organization that you feel a part of. As your identity is tied to that allows you to endure longer through harder times. And so, I'm a professor in college. I think most of you know that. When a lot of these guys leave that varsity level and they graduate high school, they go off to college, and you feel disconnected. You question your identity and your place in the world. And so the church, the body of Christ, organizations like this that we are united together as believers in Christ, create a special bond that allows us to go through some tough things. And when we don't have that, when we disconnect, and so I hope those guys that go on will find places to connect. It can be tough, and we can stumble a lot more easily. We need the company, right? We need each other. The journey can only happen with all of us working together. Sometimes that means we're together. Sometimes, like on our summer here, that quest will continue, but we'll be disconnected. So here's our Fellowship of the Falcons. Right here. So there you go. So, I maybe should apologize for my poor Photoshop skills. This was, did the best I could on some of this and, without spending too much time. But really love you all. I mean that, as an older brother in Christ, as your coach and Abel's dad here, and just a friend, someone who cares about you all. I love you. I want the best for you all moving forward. As I was an assistant coach last year, I continue to watch those guys in 14U and root for them, especially hard. And I will definitely continue that for our guys going on to the next level. And I don't know if I'll be able to be a coach again or not. I certainly want to be around as much as I can with Falcon stuff. But I'm excited for you all. But the journey's not over. Fellowship of the Ring is the first of the trilogy, Lord of the Rings. And for you all, our Fellowship of the Falcons, this is the beginning. We still have more to go. The journey continues. The the mountains and the storms and the enemies, they're all ahead still. And so keep fighting, keep working together, keep enduring, keep building one another up, and look forward to next year and hopefully many years to come. Not just of you all growing in basketball, but more importantly, of course, growing in your walk with Christ and with each other through that. So love you all. Hopefully I'll see you all soon. Maybe there'll be a get together in the summer sometime. I know the camps and stuff like that too. So wish you all the best and see you soon.